Rappers have traded insults since the beginning of hip-hop. It is part of the culture. From Tupac's Hit 'Em Up to Jay-Z's Takeover, hundreds of great diss tracks have been released as a test of lyrical skill and an assertion of superiority. The current dispute began between three of hip-hop's top performers, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, who all sparked by a seemingly benign song praising their individual accomplishments. When Kendrick Lamar was a rising star, Drake lent him a helping hand by including him on his Take Care album and booking him as an opening act on his 2012 Club Paradise tour. However, following the success of his debut album Good Kid, M.A.'d City in 2013, Lamar made his intentions obvious. During a guest verse on Big Sean's Control, he warned Drake, J. Cole, Meek Mill, Mac Miller, Pusha T, and a slew of other rappers saying, "I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you." When asked about the diss, Drake told Billboard magazine, "I didn't really have anything to say about it. It just sounded like an ambitious thought to me. That's all it was. I know good and well that Lamar's not murdering me at all in any platform, so when that day presents itself, I guess we can revisit the topic." The rappers traded a few jibes over the next few years. Lamar famously boasted that he'd tucked a sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes at the BET Hip Hop Awards, but it never looked particularly serious. J. Cole compared himself to Drake and Kendrick on the song First Person Shooter. The initial spark represented a gesture of unification rather than divisiveness. Drake's 8th album For All the Dogs was released in October of last year, and it included a collaboration with J. Cole called First Person Shooter. Cole indicated in one line that he, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar were the big three of today's hip-hop industry. The song debuted at #1 on the US singles chart, making it Drake's 13th and Cole's first. Drake had now tied Michael Jackson for the most #1 singles by a male solo artist. A week later, Taylor Swift's Cruel Summer dethroned them at #1, and the opportunity appeared to have passed. However, Kendrick had taken note in secret, and he was not pleased. Producer Metro Boomin and rapper Future collaborated on the album We Don't Trust You, which was published in March 2024. Hidden in the track listing was a song called Like That, which had an uncredited verse by Kendrick Lamar, and it was explosive. And with a tightly strung expletive-laden delivery, he took aim at Cole's verse, claiming there was no big three, it's just Big Me. He went on to describe Drake and Cole's greatest verses as insubstantial, a light pack, and branded himself the Prince to Drake's Michael Jackson. The verse's impact is difficult to explain in writing, but when it closes with Lamar pledging to put all of Drake and J. Cole's dogs in the Pet Cemetery, the title of a Stephen King 1983 horror novel, you know a fuse has been lit. Note that Lamar is referring to the rapper's closest friends and family, not physical pet dog. The line doubles as a reference to Drake's album title, For All the Dogs. The location of Lamar's verse is also noteworthy, as Metro Boomin is a former Drake collaborator who parted out with the Canadian star. Drake appeared to address Kendrick's verse during a concert in Florida, sending a pugnacious message to the audience. "A lot of people ask me how I'm feeling," he said. "I'ma let you know I'm feeling. I got my head up high, my back straight, I'm 10 toes down in Florida and anywhere else I go. And I know that no matter what, it's not a person on this earth that could ever with me in my life." 2 weeks later, J. Cole responded to Kendrick's verse with a music called 7-Minute Drill from his surprise album, Might Delete Later. "I got a phone call, they say that somebody dissing, you want some attention, it come with extensions," the rapper belted out. He's still doing shows but fell off like The Simpsons. He went on to criticize Kendrick's discography, calling his debut classic, but his most recent effort, a complex double album titled Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, tragic. "Your third album was massive and that was your prime," he continued. "I was trailing right behind and I just now hit mine." He concluded by expressing that he still respected Lamar but would not hesitate to destroy him if the insults persisted. "Push come to shove on this mic, I will humble him." Cole realized it had been a significant misstep almost soon after releasing 7-Minute Drill. Speaking on stage at the Dreamville Festival in North Carolina, he apologized for the song, praised Lamar's back catalog, and asked for forgiveness. "I ain't gonna lie to y'all, the past 2 days felt terrible," he told the audience, admitting that he succumbed under pressure to reply to Lamar's attack. The end result, he claimed, was the lamest, goofiest thing he had ever recorded. Drake, like a true rap arsonist, attempted to restart the fire that Cole had smothered. On April 13th, he released a song titled Push-Ups, in which he mocked Lamar's height, calling him a midget. He stands 5 feet 4 inches tall, and a record label puppet compelled to collaborate with pop artists. Maroon 5 need a verse, you better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. He tried to convince them. He also took issue with Lamar's standing in the hip-hop hierarchy, claiming that other musicians had surpassed him. Pipsqueak, pipe down. You ain't in no big three, Zia got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down, /21. Savage got you wiped down. He also tagged Future The Weeknd and Rick Ross in the same song. Within hours of Drake's diss, Rick Ross responded with a single called Champagne Moments, claiming the star had undergone plastic surgery, including a nose job, false abs, and a Brazilian butt lift. Drake's mother texted him to ask if the allegations were real. He documented their conversation on Instagram, indicating that this rap beef had outlived its usefulness. Then, on April 21st, Kanye West sided with Kendrick Lamar, releasing a remix of Like That in which he criticized Drake's major label record deal, implying that he had been shortchanged. He also ridiculed Drake and Cole's lyrics, saying, "Y'all so out of sight, out of mind. I can't even think of a Drake line." Drake's attention was totally on Lamar. The Canadian provoked his Compton opponent by releasing yet another diss track. TaylorMade Freestyle argued that Lamar was too cowardly to release music during the same week as Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets department. To add insult to injury, Drake deployed artificial intelligence to hurl insults in the voices of Lamar's heroes, Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg. Following complaints from Shakur's estate, the song was deleted from Drake's social media accounts. Kendrick eventually retaliated with a full-fledged 6-minute diss song at the end of April. It was titled Euphoria, after the HBO show on which Drake is an executive producer, and read like a laundry list of grievances against his sparring partner. Lamar described Drake as predictable, a master manipulator, and a habitual liar. He also echoed Rick Ross's criticism of Drake's phony abs, and questioned the star's parenting abilities. But basically, he stated he disliked Drake. "Let me say I'm the biggest hater," he rapped. "I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, I hate the way that you dress." Less than 72 hours later, he released a second song titled 616 in LA. In it, he alleged that someone within Drake's organization was leaking sensitive information. "You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it." Lamar's assertion that Drake don't know nothing about raising a son appears to have angered him. On Saturday, May 4th, Drake responded with a song titled Family Matters, which escalated the feud. "You mentioned my seed, now deal with his dad," he declared. "I gotta go bad. I gotta go bad." Drake hypothesized in the song that Lamar could be a perpetrator of domestic abuse. The star has never faced such an allegation. Within 20 minutes, Lamar responded with a third diss track, Meet the Grams, which began with the foreboding warning, "You messed up the minute you called out my family's name." Each line was addressed to one of Drake's closest family members, including his mother, father, and 6-year-old son, Adonis. He went over the rapper's claimed failures with each of them, and he said Drake secretively fathered a second child and was hooked to gambling, sex, and drugs. Drake responded on Instagram by requesting whoever had his hidden daughter to hand her back, adding that Lamar's statements were a shambles. On his fourth diss track, Not Like Us, Lamar accused Drake of having connections with underage women. "Say, Drake, I hear you like 'em young, trying to strike a chord and it's probably a minor," the rapper rhymed. Drake responded a day later, fiercely refuting the charges and daring Lamar to provide proof, with the inference that there was none. "Drake is not a name that you're gonna see on no sex offender list. Easy does it. You mentioning a minor. Be sharp and tell the fans, who was it?" He also indicated that several of Lamar's claims were purposefully planted by a bogus informant in the hopes that the singer would unknowingly rap about them. "The ones that you're getting your stories from, they're all clowns," rapper Drake began to sing. "We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it." For the time being, the war of words has subsided, but the silence is unnerving. Will either celebrity be able to walk away? Whatever happens, the dispute has benefited business. Push-ups and Like That are both now charting in the United States and the United Kingdom, with the most recent diss tracks expected to follow. And while the question of who won remains, Billboard magazine says that streams of Lamar's back catalog have climbed by 49% since The Weeknd, while Drake's have decreased by 5%. Lamar's pop-oriented Not Like Us, which features a possibly libelous hook, has also been a club hit, receiving 21 million streaming in its first 3 days of release. There are also other conspiracy theories circulating, the most popular of which is that Universal Music intervened to end the rivalry. However, TMZ has reported that this is not true. Things took a bad turn on Tuesday when a security officer outside Drake's home was shot. It is unclear whether the incident was related to the rapper's dispute, but the vandalism of Drake's OVO shop in London undoubtedly was. Meanwhile, some listeners appear to be growing tired of the incessant back and forth.